Hello, everyone, and welcome to the message. My name is Rylan Medicine Eagle. For those who are new here, for those returning, welcome back. Take what resonates, leave the rest with this message, but I'm going to be doing a pure tarot reading. Something just snapped in here. Interesting. Maybe doing a pure tarot reading, which I don't think I really ever do on this channel. I usually use oracles and sometimes barely use the tarot, but today I'm feeling called to a tarot message. So let's find out. Beautiful Spirit, bring through the messages that are needed at this time for this collective. I ask that you would help me to find the precision, find the clarity, and find exactly what needs to come through for them at this time. Thank you. Whatever needs to be heard, whatever signs, synchronicities, etc. We have 7 of Cups, confusion, distortion. I wouldn't normally say distortion, confusion, distortion, distorted thinking clouded by emotions. 3 of Swords reverse here, heartbreak and loss, but in reverse, coming out of this. But the distortion, why did I hear the distortion? Distortion, clouded, something not being seen for what it is. Like something's not being seen for what it is. And it could be that this has to do with a heartbreaking situation or some kind of heaviness or grief that you feel on the heart or something that you've been through. It feels like this could have to do with the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. We're still in that, right? So as we're going into Sagittarius season, these big blasts of fiery energy, it feels like at the same time, we're still moving through this murky sort of underworld energy in terms of certain things rising from the depths to the surface. I've been definitely feeling this. Things that feel very intentional as well. These aren't just random. The things that are coming up for you at this time emotionally and that are triggering you or that are making you feel a type of way or distracting you, they are intentional. They are not just random. They are there because there's something in that thing, that phenomena, that trigger that is like a data that is meant to help you to understand something more deeply about yourself, to reclaim your power. It's always an opportunity to reclaim our power, to reclaim our sovereign, conscious, creative state. So even in the spiritual community, this has been a big theme for me. Even in the spiritual community, I kind of want to move this lights that we have, better lighting here. Better lighting so that we're in the light, okay? Yeah, that's much better. So we're bringing something to light. What I'm bringing to light right now for y'all is, even in the spiritual community, even in the tarot reading community, even in the intuitive guidance community, even in all the self-development community, it's so easy, I'm realizing, as I'm in this field now and as I've been doing it for so long, it's so easy for these people to, all of us, right? All of us, not even these people, all of us, to slip into dualistic thinking, to slip into the sort of psychological warfare of it all, if you even want to go that extreme with it. There's a lot of psychological warfare on our planet right now. That's what this reminds me of, that distorted thinking, seeing things in a not clear way, fear tactics to control, making things seem illusory. I'm seeing the 7 of Swords as well in my mind's eye, like deceiving, using illusion to create false narratives, to create false realities. I'm hearing too. Collective reality, like the global collective reality, and especially if you live nearby, American culture, this false reality, right? This false way of the world being bombarded on us through media, being bombarded on us through algorithms, being bombarded on us through like these echo chambers being created on our social media, etc., creating polarized and radicalized thinking. It's big, and it's something to really be aware of. This could be a big truth for some of us at this time, needing to be heard, to recognize how the Scorpio is about power, right? Power dynamics, how power dynamics get skewed towards these greater perpetrators of these narratives to keep us in control, using fear to control us, using guilt, using shame, using lack, using division, using us versus them thinking, dualism, right? Duality, dualistic thinking against us. So that's big. That's the big energy here that it feels like I'm tapping into in the collective. And I'm noticing it leaking into the spiritual community more and more and more. A lot of teachers, a lot of readers, you know, people who have really helped me and guided me. I'm noticing this consistent hamster wheel of fight. This is a very like Neptune and Aries energy as well. These planets moving into Aries, how the delusion and the illusion can be around battling and fighting and aggression. Yeah, that's just what's coming through right off the bat. And it feels like there's even like a contraction in my heart a little bit. Like my heart wants to open. My heart wants to open. And it's like, I feel the aim of this energy in general, or the nature of this energy in general that's being used and bombarded, is to keep us below the heart. I made a video yesterday, about every time we fall to the resonance below the heart, when our consciousness falls more of the time into like ego and the lower chakras, essentially, into like lust, you know, greed, power, status, all these things of the ego specifically, we lose touch with the ultimate truth of the heart, which blends the higher and the lower modalities of life together. The heart here, in the heart, and when we are in touch with the heart, I'm even tapping the heart all over to get the energy moving in there. When we're in touch with the heart has no fear. The heart knows the way. The heart knows a much higher truth. The heart knows the way. It knows how to create reality in a way that is beneficial for all, that connects all of us, that transcends this me, myself, and I, ego, myself and I, right? We transcend into the self with the capital S, the one self. And we are able to hold the duality as one. We are able to understand, yes, we are separate as human beings. Yes, we all have separate lives and we have different values and needs and opinions, yes, but we're also all one above. We're from one consciousness. So it's so important to balance this out in these times, especially. Yes, exactly. The Three of Swords in reverse. Now I'm seeing it clearly. And underneath it was the Six of Cups, which is childlike joy. It's nostalgia. It's that feeling of being childlike again. So yes, this greater narrative, these greater narratives that are being perpetuated, knowingly and unknowingly, right? Because it's becoming subconscious. It feels like it's in the subconscious of the whole world. That narrative is blocking the truth underneath it all, that we are all children. Deep down, we are children of the universe, children of God, children of Source, whatever you want to call it. We are all inner children, innocent, pure, playful. The Page of Cups has been a big energy today as well. That kind of energy, creative, innocent, playful beings. And it's so easy for life to distort us, to make us forget that. And the illusion a lot of the time is that we think we have to fight to reclaim that, when in reality, you can choose to be that at any time. It's just about removing ourselves from the momentum of the battle, removing ourselves from the momentum of the separation consciousness and stepping back into love, higher awareness, a strong heart, courage, the courage to be who we are, to open vulnerably to loving and including, rather than hiding and closing and shutting down. You know, this year has been, it's like the year of the snake, right? And it's an ending year, a closing year. We've seen the narrative of the narcissist versus the empath come up, and that's been a real narrative. And we've had to learn that warrior, that battle side, that lower chakra side, right? That physical, grounded side. I've talked about that so much, and that's been so important. But that's not where we were ever meant to stay. That's not where we're ever meant to stay fully for a lifetime. And I feel that we're getting to that point where I'm seeing a lot of people staying in that energy and recreating that energy because they're paying attention to that energy so much. Hence why I'm always trying to help us to be aware of it, but not to delve into it too much, not to beat down on it, not to make it like a charged, addictive kind of a thing, because that's what this, again, psychological warfare machine banks on. It banks on all of us being paranoid and untrustworthy and against each other. When at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing? What are we really doing? And who's really responsible for this? It's simultaneously the powers that be, but also us as individuals. We are responsible for it just as much. And our responsibility in it is to become aware, wake up, step out of that consciousness and realize we have the power to create the reality we want to create right now, right here, as we are. So this is the confusion. This is what's trying to be hidden in these deep, dark Scorpio waters. This is what wants to stay hidden in the collective, it feels like, is the truth of this. The deeper truth that all of us are connected. That the power plays, the back and forth karmic loops are illusion. And although they're very real experiences on the physical level, so important to transcend. What else wants to come through here, Spirit? Thank you so much. Woo! I feel like it's like a sermon. The Knight of Swords just popped out, wanted to come out, but then went back. So maybe there's something like that. That's the feeling. That definitely is the feeling. The Knight of Swords charges into battle, right? The Knight of Swords charges into battle. Doesn't really think too much, just kind of like takes information and charges forward. It's a younger swords energy, a younger air energy. It's very smart, very, very intelligent. And that's the feeling here. Even in this sort of people who are awake, people who are aware, people who are spiritually awake, people who are very intelligent, taking information and understanding information in a certain way and then charging into battle with it. But the feeling here is it wants to come out, but it's not, it just doesn't feel like that's necessarily always the right action. And I can tell you from my situation I've been through, in my portion of this collective energy, every time I've done that, I've oftentimes realized in my karmic lesson that that was probably not the right choice. Even though it was the right choice because I learned from it, I had to eventually realize I need to remove myself from that energy to break the loop, to rise back into the heart, to rise above and say enough is enough. That's how we say enough is enough of the fighting, the battle, the division. Hermit and the moon coming out here. The Hermit and the moon on the bottom of the deck. The Hermit is someone who's very solid in themselves, knows themselves, does not need other people to tell them who they are or about themselves. They're soul searching. They're going deep into their spiritual waters, their spiritual nature, seeking the greater mysteries of life. And then with the moon here, it feels like this collective, you've gone deep into the shadows, or you have the capacity and the ability to go very deep into the shadows, to understand that the shadow and the darkness are very powerful. But again, they're not meant to be, the shadow and the darkness are not meant to be so, how do we put this? Played in, I suppose. It feels like we're almost playing in the shadow. But there's a call to the heart, to light, to a holding of opposites in the middle way, in centeredness. And what I'm seeing is this can also speak to with the Hermit, because it's so individual, and the moon is about also like murkiness, shadow. We can't really see things clearly. It's like the Seven of Cups. It could also be speaking to like, that's also part of the nature of what this is doing. It's forcing people into an individuated state in good and bad ways. This is starting to get super philosophical. The Spirit, what do you want me to, how do we ground this into this message for this beautiful collective here? It feels like this collective is meant to use this energy to become very, very powerfully embodied in self, to be very wise, to be very discerning, to be very knowledgeable, not getting like tied up in fighting and battling on the surface, I think there's a proverb that talks about even a fool is thought wise if he holds his tongue. That's the feeling here. Sometimes silence is the way. Sometimes silence is the way of truth and is the way of wisdom, because that's when we can listen. That's when we can understand, rather than always doing and acting and thinking, jumping to conclusions, right? There's a feeling here of just, we're looking higher. The light here in the Hermit card, it's pointing up, looking up towards a higher awareness, a higher truth in the heart, to feel it in the heart. I just had a day today where I was listening to the heart. I said to Spirit, today I'm going to just fully listen to the heart. And you will not believe the synchronicity and the beauty and the creativity of my day today doing that. Everything just lined up. I heard like intuition in my head saying, go there, do that. And I was like, oh, I wouldn't normally do that, but okay, follow the heart. And then it would take me, and it led me to just beautiful things. Like I freaking got this, my speaking of lighting, my ring light had broken down a while ago and I hadn't gotten a new one, and it took me into the store, and then I stopped at this one point and I was like, and I looked down and there's a ring light there for quarter of the price of what I would normally get it. And I was just and it was the only one left, and I was like, okay, perfect. And that was it was that type of thing over and over and over again, exactly what I needed coming to me at just the right time. But I could also tell in the world around me that so many people were stuck in their minds, stuck in the battle, stuck in thinking about this, again, collective illusion that's been created, thinking about the problems, thinking about the issues. And it's you as an individual, there is this secret frequency that we all are capable of tuning into. We just have to tune into it, and that's the challenge. The frequency is right there. It hovers just above normal reality in the heart again. And when we can tap into it, we become, I heard somebody describing it like the bobber. Abraham Hicks describes it like this too, like the bobber coming up to the surface to float. It becomes so much more fluid. We attract what we need, and then we are able to give that to others as well. Giving. I had an opportunity today. This man, I was told, Spirit told me, no, walk left. And I went left, and this man asked me for help on the street. And I said, what kind of help? And he just wanted a snack. He just wanted food. And I was like, I can get you food. And so we went into the store, and the woman in the store, she knows him. She says, he started asking me for all this other stuff, and we were just laughing, and it was the most beautiful moment. And that was a gift for me, because I listened to my heart instead of being caught up in the fight, in the battle, in me against someone else, or what I'm going to do next, or where my next, what, it's just, that's what life's about. This is the wisdom we've been cultivating. This is the point of it all. This is why we awaken, because we were always meant to reach a higher perspective while still being in the world, but not of the world. And I just want to remind you of this. This is confirmation for a lot of what you're already doing and what a lot of you already know, but I want to remind you in conscious light here. Don't fall for the illusion. Don't fall for this psychological warfare machine, this propaganda machine, all of this fighting that's even infiltrated some of the intuitives and the readers. And we have to be very careful about false light as well, right? Myself included. So, yes, this feels like a very serious, but a very passionate, of the heart, loving message. It's hopeful as well. It's hopeful because this is clarity. Clarity brings hope. We have the Queen of Wands. She kind of flipped and she's crossed here. We have the Seven of Wands reverse. So that's yes. That's exactly it. A lot of you feel like you've had to be on the defense. You've been standing your ground. And just under the Page of Pentacles comes out. A lot of you have felt like you've had to defend something that feels like you're going to lose it if you don't defend it, and if you're not on edge, and if you're not guarded. I know I have. But the Queen of Wands, she's here to tell us, when you are in the fire and the courage, it's Leo energy, right? Of the heart, strength. When you're in that energy, There's no lack. There's only abundance. Everything you need, it comes to you in ways the mind and the ego literally cannot fathom. Like, I'm telling you, when you get in that state, it's like magnetized to you. It's just like, oh, coming from all directions. It can almost get too much sometimes, is the feeling. Like, slow down, spirit. This is a lot. And so this Seven of Wands kind of moving to the side for the Page of Pentacles to peek out, I feel like Spirit's calling you into a time and an era of your life where you're meant to like ground into like really fertile soil. I love the image in this. Yeah, and this guy just went like right face down because he doesn't want to be seen anymore. Wheel of Fortune coming out as well. Yeah, that Seven of Wands, that warrior battle time, it feels like that's not the energy anymore. It feels like you went through that, you learned that lesson, and that will always be there, integrated into your soul when you need to bring it out. But it's not meant to be the whole focus. You are the Page of Pentacles, running through the field, open, expansive, the ideas, the inspiration. It's like, what can we build? What can we start? The horse, this reminds me of that horse that's been coming through so much. The year of the horse coming, the wild horse running full speed into just expansive, spacious potential. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. That's what we came here for, to be awake as the one who gets to play in its own creation. Queen of Wands, right? She marches to the beat of her own motherfucking drum, and she attracts an audience to bear witness, but she doesn't need one. She doesn't even care. She's like, oh, that's nice. That's fun. You want to join in the conga line? Cool. Yeah, come join me. But it's like, then off she goes to the next. And it's kind of like, that's your feeling. That's the feeling of you. You're free. You're detached. It's like you're kind of floating above, like hovering, like your feet above the ground a little bit. That's how it's supposed to be here. It's not supposed to be so heavy, so dense. And I'm reminded in this era, this time, how much power we actually do have over our consciousness and our reality. Reality is a mirror, and we are constantly attracting and moving into spaces and places that are helping us to grow, but that are also mirroring who we are and what we're resonating and what we're putting out. And if we're not catching the lesson, and if we're falling into deeper density and falling into the wills of other people's realities, we will always be at the mercy of this world rather than the creative power of the self. So tune into the creative power of the self. Spend some time in the heart. Spend some time feeling what feels good to the heart, even if you're not used to that. And if there's grief there, if there's heaviness there, let that move through you. Let yourself feel that. But find a way, right, to open the heart and start moving that momentum towards freedom, expansion. So many of you already are. One of the greatest ways to do this is creativity. Write it out, journal it out, speak it out, say it to the camera. Confirmation burp here. Channeling, even for me, puts me in such a great mood because it's like the channel opens. Confirmation burp. And that's creativity. That's art in general. The channel does not have to be spiritual, intuitive, whatever. It can be just creativity. It can be just like I channel music, writing, whatever, but letting that flow and be open, even if it's like you're mad at first and you're just like, I hate this person, and I write it down, like let it out, whatever. Just don't dwell on it. Just move past it and keep moving past, keep moving forward. That's how you get into this flow. And by the time you know it, you're clear, you're ready, you're good, and you're the horse. We're getting prepared for this. We're getting prepared for this. This is this next year ahead as well. This is almost like a year ahead reading. But this is the moment. Sagittarius season, the Archer, long-range thinking, higher thinking, Jupiter, expansion, right? Even though we're in Jupiter retrograde. We have Mercury and Saturn retrograde ending very soon here. So there's going to be forward momentum. We're coming out of the lessons and the darkness and the heaviness. And there's going to be a lot of people still in that. There's going to be a lot of people in the world that are unconsciously moving through loops, cycles. And again, even other readers, even other people who are kind of perpetuating false narratives and perpetuating narratives that never rise above a certain frequency, right? Continue to look higher, my friends. I think this is your message. The tower is just peeking out underneath. it feels like this is the energy. And it feels like there's an opportunity here to grasp this energy and to rise into this energy, because you don't want life to become a tower moment. And that's not to scare you, that's not to make you more paranoid, but that's how life kind of tends to work, is if we ignore the call, if we ignore looking higher, if we ignore, helping ourselves, those towers often come to kind of force us to help ourselves, especially when we're awake and when we're conscious and when we, know, when we know the higher. And this is something that happens to me too. When you have awakened and when you are on a spiritual path and when you are devoted and when you're devoted to an intuitive path, the higher you get on that path, or the deeper, I shall say, that we get into that path, the more consequence you feel when you don't listen to your intuition and when you do things that are of density. As we ascend, as Earth ascends, it's becoming more and more intolerable to the system to not listen to that voice, to not be resonating from the heart. So it's only going to get harder from here on out to not listen to that voice and to not step up into conscious creation, because that's where it's headed. That's where we're going. That's how the whole is. God, one, source itself, is waking up. And we are part of that. We are all part of that collective awakening of the one. So essentially, I'm here to help us flow with that and bring us up into that. And wherever you are in this process, it's all right. It's all okay. But this is where we're going, and it's exciting. So yes, above and beyond the drama, above and beyond the mundane, above and beyond the details, this is where we shall sit. We shall all sit on our thrones as kings and queens of the world and anything in between. So that's the message. I hope this helps. I really do. And I think that's all. Yes, Spirit? Yes? All right. Beautiful. I appreciate all of you very much. Thank you for being here. I love you. I love you lots. Even just sitting here in your energy is such a gift and a blessing for me. So I give you all my love and all my well wishes to rise. Rise. So yes, I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.